Hello. In this video I'm hoping to give you some ideas about how to look after your well-being at this difficult time. My name's Catherine Wright. I'm a clinical psychologist at Mid Yorks working into paediatric diabetes and paediatric burns. So everything's different at the moment, as we all know, and the things that we might normally have done that probably kept us to have a good balance between work and life and meant that we could enjoy our home life without thinking too much about work. Everything's changed. The whole world is anxious. People we might have gone to before as our kind of secure base or safe haven are maybe struggling too, and we can't reach out to them as much. Everybody's anxious. We're all having to do things that we're not familiar with, and work's become much more difficult as well. So the things that we used to use perhaps just aren't effective anymore. There aren't any magic solutions, but what I'm going to run through is a few ideas of things that might help you with your well-being generally, and also specifically thinking about that switch from being at home and being at work, so that when you finish your shift or your working day, that you can come home, make the most of your time off and be available to your family and take on all the other roles you have in your life, whether that's a partner, a parent, a carer for another person, to have the energy that you need for the rest of the tasks that you have in life. So at the moment, we get our shopping in from the supermarket, we have to wipe it down before we put it away, we're constantly washing our hands. At the end of work, we're all having to be really, really careful to try not to carry any infection with us as we come home. But what do we do when we get home with the things that are up here and in here, our thoughts and feelings that we're still carrying with us from the day? We're getting back to a really different environment, and it can be hard to leave work behind. There are a few things that you might already be trying that have been suggested a lot in the media that are really good ideas. So one thing that can really help with your well-being and keeping home a safe space is to really think about your access to social media and news. So what we know is that if you're getting a lot of updates throughout the day that include reference to coronavirus or COVID-19, it can really increase your anxiety and worry levels. And it's worth thinking about work WhatsApp groups as well, because although these can be really supportive and really helpful, you might just want to have a think with your colleagues about how you use these groups and the impact it might have on each of you if you're getting messages from work colleagues while you're at home. Another idea that's been talked about a lot is having a new hobby or a passion project. Now, you might be feeling exhausted and like you just don't have the energy for this, but this kind of activity can still be really good to just do something mindfully and relaxing that takes your thoughts away from work. So it's worth thinking about it when you're not too tired. When you get in from work, you might just feel exhausted and want to flop on the sofa, but there might be another point in the week where you've got a bit more energy and you can think about things that you might be able to do at home just to relax you and take your mind off things. And then make a plan. We know that willpower's not strong when we're tired. So if you make a plan for when you're going to get in from work and get things ready, maybe lay out your comfiest, most comforting clothes, or have a little plan that you're going to have a potter in the garden or go for a walk or whatever it is. Just that little bit of something when you get in to help you make the switch from work mode to home mode. Another thing that might be useful for you to pick up, which is free for NHS staff till December, is an app called Headspace. It's a mindfulness and meditation app. You might think, oh, I'm not sure if I'm really into that kind of thing, but I'd really recommend everyone to give it a try. It's got lots of short practices of relaxation and mindfulness that can help with managing worry, can help with sleep, and those kind of techniques are going to be really helpful to you at the moment. As with any new skill, it's really good to practice it when you're feeling less tired, less overwhelmed, and then you can gradually build up the skills to use them when you're more stressed. But you might just want to try it one day when you get in from work, and that might be a good thing to build into your routine after work if you're able to. And I know this is a big ask, but if maybe you can just, stop your journey, sit in the car for 5-10 minutes, do a relaxation exercise before you go into the house, or when you get in, if you're having a shower, to just have 5 or 10 minutes afterwards to just do some relaxation. And there's millions of things on YouTube and online that you can try. Another thing that's worth trying, if you're finding that things have happened in the day that you really just can't get them off your mind, There's an exercise called the container exercise, and I've linked the information about that and Headspace information in the notes underneath this clip. So the container exercise is a way of putting to one side any emotions or thoughts or memories that are really troubling but you just can't deal with right now. You can't do anything about them, you just need a bit of relief from them. So I've linked a really short practice. You might want to find other longer ones, there's several on YouTube, but something to try maybe and see if you find it helpful. It's kind of an imagination based exercise, imagining a container to put your feelings away in. Some other resources you might find helpful are from the Intensive Care Society, again linked under the notes. There's some really good posters about staff wellbeing in COVID, and a good one to look at is the one that's, I think it's called Do I Need Help? And it's signs to look out for that might suggest that you're not coping so well. So the things they mention is feeling emotionally exhausted a lot of the time, like you've got nothing left to give, feeling like you just, no matter how hard you try at work, you don't really feel satisfied with what you're doing, and also feeling a little bit distant from people. And sometimes you can notice that in your home relationships, I think, as well. If you've had a very overwhelming day at work, it can be hard to really connect with family or friends when you get in. So those posters are worth looking at because there's lots of good self-care tips there. I think in general it's about knowing yourself and what works for you and being really, really kind to yourself. So if there are things that you know that help you cope and that are healthy and good for you, have a think about which ones you can build in as a routine after work. So in the same way as little children need that routine of bath time before bedtime to help them settle them down to sleep, you might need a little routine that you build in of things you can do when you get in from work that help you settle it back into that home life and help you make the most of the time off so that you can really relax and recharge your batteries a little bit. If you do find you're struggling, and it would be absolutely normal to feel overwhelmed at the moment, then there's a really good range of resources and information on the My Wellbeing Matters section of the intranet. And also what we're doing at Mid Yorks is we've got some half-hour slots that you can book into with myself and other psychologists in the team, just to have a little bit of space to think about how you're doing and get a bit of support from people who understand the health system and understand emotional well-being and mental health. And I'd really encourage you to think about booking yourself one of those slots, or encouraging colleagues to as well if you feel that anyone's finding things difficult. And I really do wish you all the best in dealing with this situation. Thank you.